Welcome to Outback Outdoors. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the alert to stay up to date on all our new videos.
We're headed over near Meeker. First elk hunt of the year. We're gonna see if Trav and AR could get it done. The bulls should be picking up, so should be a good time.
Welcome to the Inspired Wild Podcast. I'm Trevon Stoltzfus, your host, and we are in Colorado hunting elk. We're going to be taking you on a ride. September is finally here. Seems like it's taken forever to get here. And we are going to be hunting elk with QRS, Outdoor Specialties, a good friend, Quentin Smith. I'm joined here by Tanner Vernon. I'm also with Clint Meyer, and my good buddy Aaron Ray from Missouri has come all the way from Missouri to hunt elk with us here in Colorado. It's going to be an exciting time. I'm looking forward to it. We are on the R Lazy J, and the cool thing is we get to share camp with some amazing young ladies, Alli and Adrianna Armstrong, and they're in camp hunting with us, so it'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to this. So it's the first evening. We just got here. We are just gonna glass. We have no idea where these elk are. We thought we'd move up here and look at this ridge. A lot of times these elk will run this ridge, and so at least we can get an idea of where we're gonna go in the morning. But it's nice to be back up. We already heard an elk bugle. Life is good. Set the scene cue on how this ranch lays out.
It runs 6.5 miles long and it runs 4 miles wide. But it's a huge canyon with the front side, what we consider the front side here, being big, heavy draws with oak and sagebrush and junipers and cedars and things leading into alfalfa or hay ground down in the bottom. We've got natural grass on half of it, but then over the last 2 years, we have done a major project with the NRCS and Division of Wildlife and put in a overgrown yard sprinkler system, for lack of a better term. So a major attraction for wildlife, and that was our main purpose in putting that crop in here, was to help attract the wildlife and do a lot of work on the ranch with hydraxing and things to bring some of the deer and provide that habitat for them. So we've been doing lots of projects over the years. What we have learned on this ranch, it sets itself extremely well for an evening hunt, but a pretty slow morning hunt. Partially because your elk are down in your bottoms in the morning, they're in your fields, and then going up in the hillsides to their bedding area during the day. We have learned over time that if you leave those animals alone in the feeding area and you leave them alone in the bedding area, you keep those animals on you all the time. So we hunt them in the transition periods is what we do. We try to catch them from above, keep the pressure from the outside in, or hunt them from blinds. Blinds have been very, very successful for us on this ranch, but we can really get anybody in on it depending on what kind of hunt we want to do. And right now with the heat that we have on the ranch, definitely water is our main source. A water hole like Alli and Adrianna have been setting. She's going to be setting a water hole again tonight. But these heavy draws got aspen pockets in them and different things, and it provides that covering that habitat. And then so it works out for us to be able to set up in those transition periods and hunt them in those areas.
It's the first afternoon here in Colorado. AR and Clint are set up on a wallow, probably about a half mile, maybe 800 yards from us. We walked up into this area that's got some big meadows, and then it's a lot of scrub oak. These elk love to bed in here. Q told us earlier that he watched a bunch of elk come in here this morning. So we're kind of back a little bit, making sure the wind's right. And we're gonna set here this evening. And then if we see the elk or hear the elk, we can make a play by going off over the edge and working ourselves around. But the key right now is just to be in position. We're a little bit early, which is better early than late. It is hot. 82, 83 degrees, feels like it's 90. So there's not a lot of midday action. But the elk have to go to feed. They're gonna go to water. We're between them and that, so it's a good place to set up. All right, let's jump right into it. Now, you guys have been here how many days hunting?
We've been here since last Sunday evening.
Kick us off, Alli. Tell us about your hunt.
So my hunt started off, we had hunted this water hole of an evening for a couple evenings, and we had some great footage. We got great footage of cows and calves coming into this water hole, and it was just the neatest thing to have elk so close to you and just doing their thing. They don't have a clue that you're there, and that's just exactly what they do, you know, even if you weren't there. And there's something that's really cool about that. And so that was fun to watch. And then the following evening was when I actually killed my bull, and we had the same thing happen. We had a ton of cows and calves and smaller bulls, couple spikes and things like that, come in. And then after they got in and they were playing in the water, watching them buck and kick and everything and splash, one calf went completely under the water. That eventually this 6x6 bull comes in, and the footage for that's really great too, because he's walking through the field and there's yellow flowers beside him and everything, and he's just taking his sweet time. You know, these cows and calves have run in, but he's just lingering along, and finally he makes it to the water hole. Well, across the water hole where he is, where he starts to first get in the water, is about 35 yards away. And so at that point I'm drawing my bow. Well, he starts to go down in the water, and where his vitals are still out of the water, a cow starts to go by him. So I'm drawn back at this point, and then he gets deeper and deeper in the water. So I'm drawn back, and eventually I have to let down, and I'm hoping, you know, that it doesn't spook them as I let down, but it doesn't. They stand still.
You're running a risk there.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
But you got away with it.
Yeah, I knew I didn't need to take a shot with him because he got down so far in the water that all you could see was basically his back straps there. So I let down, and he stayed in that pond at what seemed like for forever. It probably wasn't 5 or 6 minutes, but it seemed like an hour, and he drank and drank and drank in the pond. Meanwhile, the cows and calves are still playing behind him. And so finally, one of the cows start to make a move out of the pond, and we can see that he's going to do about the same thing that she did. So Dad is filming, he ranged it for me where the cow went through, and so finally the bull comes through exactly where the cow did, which is what we were hoping for. He gets his vitals up out of the water enough for me to get a clear shot. I shoot, it looks like a great shot. He was at 40 yards at that point. The arrow goes completely through him and lands in the pond, and he takes off, and I don't know how many yards it was, but we got to see him go down from the blind, which to me is such a comfort, knowing that you don't have to track or worry if they're still alive, you know. They just go down quickly, and you can see that you've had success.
He just went down. This big bull just came into this water hole with all these cows and calves. We could hear him bugle all evening. And I just got to watch him go down from right here, sitting where I shot him. It's the best feeling in the world. Holy smokes. He is a gorgeous, gorgeous view. Oh my goodness. He's beautiful.
He's a beautiful bull.
He is. He's absolutely gorgeous.
He is a whopper.
I can't believe it. I never can. I've killed other elk before, but every time I walk up to them, I can't believe how huge they really are. It's crazy. We've seen so many elk this evening. We've seen so many elk this whole trip. I don't think I've ever seen so many in all my elk hunting trips put together. And this beautiful guy came in bugling. We heard him from a long ways off this evening, and all the cows and calves and A couple little bulls, couple spikes came in, and they were playing in the water, and this big guy came in. And I drew on him once, but as soon as I drew, he got deeper in the water, so I had to let down. And I waited a few minutes for him to get turned around and come up out of the water a little bit. And I made a good shot on him, and I got to watch him go down, which is the best feeling in the world. This is such a blessing to be able to come out here and hunt with my dad and sister.
Beautiful kid. Absolutely
gorgeous.
Beautiful. Keep him right there just a second.
I seriously can never believe how big they really are once you get up to them.
Okay.
Yeah. Should I sit differently? Is this kind of cluttering? Or is this okay?
That's fine right now.
These elk I thought were right below me are actually across. It's so calm, so quiet right now. These elk on the other ridge sound like they're right in our lap. We're gonna hustle around and try to get over to that next ridge. See if we can get a play on these bulls here.
I've been texting with Adam. He's hunting up the draw about 9 miles at a ranch. I think he's guided on for 12, 13 years. And he said that they killed 3 bulls, all on water. They get a little different setup. They don't have the water going all the way through the ranch like we do. But he finally had a chance to get out by himself after his hunters left. And he said yesterday morning, man, he had an incredible morning. Incredible morning of elk action.
I made a great hit on him from what I could tell. That was awesome. We got right in on this herd of elk, and we had to cover some country to get here too. Anyhow, nice 5-point bull came in, took a shot at him. My arrow deflected on, I can see the branch it deflected on, and threw the arrow right into the center of a tree. I'm just glad it went into a tree and wasn't a bad hit on the elk. A couple more bulls came in that nice 5-point. He stops a little bit to the right of where that first bull did, settled that pin right on him and let it fly. Shot felt good. Could see a little arrow sticking out of him, but I think there was plenty of penetration. Where I hit him, it should be a dead elk. I'm ready to go find this bull, get some meat in the freezer. Dead sitting right there. And he's right above the road. Let's go get our hands on him. I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to hunt this property that I've worked on for 13 years now, and extremely grateful and thankful for the meat that this bull is going to provide for me and my family. Love chasing these elk with a bow. It's an experience like none other.
It's been a weird hunt. We've encountered hot weather, a lot of wind, hard to hear the bulls. But the last morning we got up on that high point and finally glassed up some elk. And AR, I'm going to hand it over to you. Tell us what happened the rest of that day.
And that morning we seen him go right by one of the ground blinds Q had set up. So we decided to take our chances by them coming down the same spot they went up and setting that ground blind. We got in there and got settled in, and shoot, they started bugling up there where we kind of figured they were bedded by at 5 o'clock, you know. Didn't seem like they were moving much, so wasn't really getting our hopes up. We were thinking, you know, dang, they're taking their time coming down. And about that time a cow stepped out. And
How far, when you first saw that cow, how far was that cow at?
oh, about 60 yards probably.
Up the draw?
Yeah, up just up from us there. And of course, I'm instantly thinking, getting down to the wire here, you know, it's always good putting meat in the freezer. And about that time, I'm thinking, I'm trying to decide whether I want to take her or not. The old bull up the draw bugles again. Like, oh man, better wait. Surely he'll take that same path, you know. And then those 7 or 8 cows there went on and headed towards the bottom. And all of a sudden we see some more cows, but they're coming up high. They loop way above us, and the bulls are right. There's actually 2 bulls in there. Both of them, I'm pretty sure, were 5x5s. And he starts running that other one back, and Clint, he started calling a little bit, and all of a sudden, that other bull, he comes down low. He's in that little lower draw that we're in, and boy, heart's starting to go. You know, it's like, dang, this I think this is gonna happen. Was drawed back, and right before I was getting ready to let it fly, I looked down to make sure my arrow was gonna clear that window. Like, no. And in the meantime, I clicked the trigger and sailed that arrow. And then he's in a different window then, and I kind of leaned over and squeezed one through there.
And what do you think the yardage was on that second one? 25?
About 25 yards, yeah.
Okay.
We just kind of let things settle down. By then, it's pitch dark.
Oh man, I don't know. I know I hit him, but I don't know where. I don't know. It's running out of light.
Okay, that's where that light's at. It's the window I shot him out of.
And we looked around for about probably 10 minutes, and then we got out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were still elk around. It honestly was just the right thing to do at that juncture.
I say we go back and watch the footage a little closer.
So we waited. Q, who had been gone on a mountain goat hunt, he said, all right, I'll be there at the 6:45, and we'll let it get light, let those elk move out of there and head on up to bed, and then we'll go find him.
Then we get there and back to the same thing where we left off last night, you know, not finding the arrow, not finding any blood right away. Tanner, the hound dog that he is, everybody keeps saying if Tanner finds blood, it's a lot of blood. So
Blood. Got blood all the way on this leaf. So he went through there, you think?
Gotta be.
Trev,
Yeah.
that bull come right there and he come right through here. So I got lots of blood where like he's falling right here, okay?
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
So we're just kind of looking in circles there, and I'm pumped up, you know, from that first
I don't think we can get around that way.
sighting of blood. So gives me something to go off of, and man, there's a chance we're going to find this bull. And shoot, we didn't walk another 20 yards from where you first found the blood, and there he laid.
Hey, congratulations, dude. Nice.
Bring me out, man.
You got it. You got it.
Nice job.
AR, rank this hunt. I know you've killed a couple, 2-3 bulls with a rifle. This is your first archery elk. What do you think?
Oh, it's, even though we had rough and tough conditions, it's by far my best elk hunting experience.
Well, Q, once again,
Always
thank
a
you so
pleasure.
much.
Always a pleasure.
And you know,
Congratulations.
we
Absolutely.
were fortunate enough on this adventure.
This is the whole case right here of don't ever give up, because the last 10 minutes is as critical as the first 10.
It's definitely a good reward. My heart was pounding like no other, so I learned a lot from the trip. You know, we adapted to the conditions and got the job done.
Thanks for watching Outback Outdoors. We encourage you to comment below, and as always, like, subscribe, and click the alert to stay up to date on all our new videos.